Yes, 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 yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
Feel incredible!
It's not a cartoon. It's anime. The group continues. Welcome everybody to another episode of AnimeSHUN. The squad is back.
Yeah, all
It is
four.
B. We got
Back
Rob
in
here.
the
Hey, everybody. What's up?
We got Ice here.
Hello.
And we got Brennon here.
Late ass Brennon.
I like how you paused before you said it because you're like leaving opportunity. First of all, I will
Late.
fully accept criticism from Rob
Uh-huh.
and from Keenan
Yeah.
about being late. I apologize to both of you.
It's,
If anyone else at this table has anything to say,
I have a lot
about
to
me
say.
being, about me
I
being
have
late,
a lot.
I don't have shit to hear from
You right now
because-
are falling into the stereotype.
All right, so we're gonna
Being
do.
black.
Okay, we have to do what I said. All right, so Rob, if anybody here is going to be late, statistically, who's it gonna be?
I mean, if you look at the statistics, Ice, I hate to do it to you, man.
But I
that's
mean,
Okay, so,
who-
all right, so-
who has been on time these past 4 weeks?
Who's been on time vast
4
majority
weeks?
of the time? Like,
I've been on a roll. I have been on.
Let me tell you
a
something.
roll.
he does have a streak going.
on
right
a
now.
roll to Ice is 9 a.m. on the fucking dot. Like literally, oh gosh, just made it.
But hey, am I on time? Am I
So-
on time? It's not 9:06 or 9:07 like
That's
some
true.
people
That's true.
that came in.
But it
today.
has been
Rob,
it has been
hold on.
30 minutes and an hour later.
Rob,
Hey, but I made that up because I
how
was
many
30
times?
minutes early
How
today.
many times do you recall me being late to us filming this?
A few. I mean, maybe once or twice. Something like
Maybe
that.
once or twice
think
out
once
of
or twice
40-something
before.
episodes.
If
right?
we
Okay,
would have
cool,
started
cool,
at
cool.
9, you still wouldn't have been here.
So Keenan, is Ice not the late ass bitch of this group?
I mean, next to the definition of late is Ice.
Okay,
Mm.
so
Okay,
It's a
if
picture
Ice
of his
was
face and afro just like this.
but
But-
all I'm saying, so Keenan, if Ice was to come at you because you was a few minutes late, one of the extremely rare times that you were late, would you be having any of that shit?
I wouldn't even act like he was. I would act like he wasn't even there.
That's-
All right,
but
so
no,
Rob-
no,
Going
no,
to the episode.
you can't
Rob.
hold me to the standard that you're not following yourself.
So what episodes are we watching today?
No, real quick. If you were on time today, please raise your hand.
I
You
mean-
know this is a podcast,
wow.
right?
Hey, well, we got
Wow.
the
video.
camera
I mean,
set up. We're
yeah,
going
we
on
have
YouTube
video. Okay,
now.
so this
Wow.
is going on YouTube, but I'm just saying, like, most people are ingesting.
Well,
I hear you.
just,
I hear you.
just
For the
for
podcast,
for,
three of us
for,
are
for
reason-
I'm just
audio
saying, I've
purposes,
never seen somebody celebrate mediocrity to
3 of us raised
the
our
level
hand.
of Ice.
One
Brennan
person
walked
did.
in.
There's
it.
some
You're making
celebration going on.
But I'm just saying, Ice, I don't understand. You made it like for the culture kind of thing this morning. I'm like, bro,
For the culture.
you can't say that. Like, you have been the bane of the culture when it comes to the stereotype of being late for
That's
the
fine.
entire show. You are known for being the late guy on this show.
We
and so now
literally
one
have-
person who almost never is late one time by a couple
so,
minutes.
Okay, just answer me this. Were you late today?
Yes, I was.
Okay, then shut the fuck up.
all I'm saying is that
That's it. I was
I'm just disappointed.
Ice, we take bets every day about how much time you're gonna be late.
Hey, well, from
Every time, because normally we're us three are here early. We're normally here early, not on time. We're normally here at least a good 20 minutes or so. They work here, so they normally here
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
earlier than that sometimes, right? We'll sit here and be like, so what y'all got on Ice? How about I give him 10 minutes over, 15, 20.
well,
So what are we here to do today, guys? I don't feel
All
like
right.
we're
Well,
Well, yes. To
all right.
get into the
To get into
crux
this,
of
well,
it.
yeah. First things first, we got Ice actually went to Anime Expo.
Oh
Yeah, I saw that.
okay.
How was
weekend.
it?
So how
was
did you enjoy
amazing.
that?
people were it was pretty dope. It was pretty dope. It was good to be around people that enjoy anime. I mean, I go to Comic-Cons all the time, and they have a heavy, fan base of people that enjoy anime too.
Yeah.
But you can see that is quantified.
Quantified.
A lot more. It's quantified when you're in that setting because it's strictly anime. Do they have like video game stuff and like superhero stuff there too? A little bit, but it's very, very anime focused, and the people love it. It was just good to be in an environment around people that really care about anime, and you can speak to certain things, and it was just really dope. I was passing out cards and stuff for the podcast, and a lot of people were really into it. Like I was telling Keenan is that like I only ran into a couple people that really weren't receptive to me talking about the podcast. I had a couple people that were like,
what are you doing?
like it was only a couple people like that, but 95% of the people that were there were really receptive to it, and they got a lot of followers. So if I met you at Anime Expo and you're listening now, shout out to you guys. Please keep listening because this is dope. This is a dope ass podcast.
Yeah. Welcome to all the new listeners.
Yeah, and Ice hit me up to go too, and I was just like, I was at a wedding this weekend, and I was like, bro, I'm gonna get in and I'm gonna pass out. And that's literally what I did. I got home and I don't even know when I went to sleep or when I woke up. I just know I woke up at some point in life.
One of the big things from the Anime Expo is the creator of Akira. He's making a new movie.
Dope.
Yeah,
Nice.
It was a big poster that said like new movie coming soon from the guy's name. I'm
Also,
sorry.
no actual details.
No, it just had the picture like it was a dude in a in a space helmet and stuff, or like an astronaut.
I have two petty thoughts right now.
Here we go.
I've been quiet. I've had two petty thoughts.
You've been quiet.
I've been over here trying to be like, should I even say this?
Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna do it now. So like the first thing is like Ice opened up his whole like the anime thing he went to, was saying it's like, man, it was really great to be surrounded by people who like anime, and I'm just like,
we're right here. Yeah, we have a whole
okay,
podcast.
cool,
By
awesome. No, I get what he was saying, but it's just
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
you phrase it. I was just like, I could just throw shots right now, but I
All right,
didn't. I
that's
didn't because he was
thought
really into it.
Yeah.
And then thought two was what he was just said is like the creator of Akira is creating another anime. It's like what, like 20, 25 years later. Like, does my man still have it? I mean, I'm just saying
They
we're
didn't
watching.
have it the first time.
You said what?
Oh,
Get out of here.
So all I'm saying is we're watching a show right now
Called
that was made that pretty much that long ago that
Yeah.
for me
What's the name? Kashiro.
I'm not excited.
Otomo?
I watched everything last night. I can't say that I sat down like I'm so excited that I'm about to watch this right now. I can't say that. I wasn't like,
Man.
gangsta like level of like I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, honestly, what I was thinking about it, like how you felt about Gangster, like you wanted to stop. Like if you would have texted that again, I would have been like,
because we got so many more episodes to get through with
Yeah,
this.
there's
one.
about 10
That's
left of
actually
this
the thought I had yesterday. So yesterday, like I watched the first episode that we were watching, and then I just opened up the episode list on Netflix, and I was looking like, yo, I have to do this 2 more times.
Yeah.
Not including this time.
He just said it in the room. He was just like, yeah, we got 2 more weeks. I was like,
I cursed
2
Rob's
more
name.
weeks.
Just so you know, I honestly cursed your name last night. I almost called you and cussed you out, Rob.
Yo.
So I'm just like, yo, why did you
man.
pick something with so many episodes?
Because it's a classic. I wasn't the one that put my homework off until the last day.
No, first of all,
you're right. Damn, and you were late, and you watched
knew-
everything
I
at the
didn't
last
bring that
minute.
much.
I
You
spread
were-
that shit out between
Wow.
2-3 days. It wasn't so bad. It was an hour
I
here,
did
an
mine
hour
Saturday.
there.
I did mine Sunday actually. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I sat down yesterday evening, and I'm just like, I'm gonna watch all this because
I did it early.
Well, because the thing is, I also did something else yesterday that I was really excited about. Has everybody seen the My Hero Academia movie?
I saw the.
I never
he
have.
just,
I
he
never
just
watched.
sent me the
You get to
the
watch it, Rob.
poster for it.
I tagged
cool.
I
I
tagged
got
all
it
you guys.
last
Nice.
night.
Oh, give it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got it. I rented it, so I have it for 30
Oh, you
days
rented it,
on
okay.
Amazon.
Cool, yeah.
But yeah, that movie's good.
Yeah.
Like,
It's better than the All Might movie.
the what movie?
The All Might. Didn't they make an All Might movie?
Isn't this what that is?
I think
Yeah,
this is
there's
what it
only one
is.
movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know
then I
what you
thought it was somebody said it was the
Yeah,
second
Keenan.
one.
This new one's the second.
They just
one.
announced one.
There's another one coming.
so
it's
that's
not
what
out
you-
yet.
Oh, okay, I thought
talking
that's
about the
what
All
you
Might
were
one. I'm talking about the All Might
referencing.
one.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
got
No,
it,
I'm saying
got
that's
it.
my first time seeing it was yesterday.
Oh,
Because I
okay.
wanted to go to the theaters, but I was on the road traveling for work, so I
Right,
didn't
yeah,
have
yeah.
time to do it.
Yeah.
And it was only in theaters for a really short time. So
Right.
no, but I saw it last night because I found out last night that I could just rent it on Amazon, and I was just like, how have I not done this?
Right.
Yeah.
So I just watched it. I was actually here like yesterday, and I watched it, and I was like,
It's like the rental lasts for 30 days.
yeah, that's what I said.
That's crazy. That's a good
Um,
amount of time.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like $3 though. I mean, just saying, just to be able to watch something. It's like that's like almost half my Netflix subscription.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah,
either
you gotta-
way,
you gotta
That's
give it back.
that's been the weird thing about Amazon Prime because I'd be like, oh shit, they got this, and then I go and it'd be like, hey, this
can
is
pay more
I'm
money.
like, all right. Like,
You want me to pay
what
$15 for this series?
Mm.
Well, get out of here.
but, no, I'll say is that it was really good. Y'all should watch it.
Not surprising, because I mean,
yeah.
I feel like they've done a good job with My Hero. So
I mean,
Yeah.
I say that it probably fits into the genre or like the way that you're used to stories happening in My Hero Academia better than I've ever seen a movie do that for an anime before.
Was it better than a Broly movie?
Ooh.
And graphics wise, how was it too?
Graphics wise, it was good. It wasn't on the level of the Broly movie because I feel like the Broly movie was like a 5-year project or something like that because of how crazy the graphics were.
Yeah.
But they were on they were on the level that you'd expect for My Hero.
Really
So
good
they were really
animation.
good.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
it
they
better,
did a really
was
good
it better animation than the TV show?
No. I would say honestly it was about the same. Like they even took
Really?
scenes from the TV show that they just put in it just to do like a quick recap. So I mean maybe it's a little bit better. Actually, you know what? 100% take it back. Yes, during the final battle, that shit was real.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was definitely better, and it was really imaginative. So I take all that back. The graphics animation was better than the show. But
By the way, I've been fucking people up with the Broly movie that you airdropped. I'll be like, hey,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know what
yeah.
you're talking about either. We
Well,
we don't sit there and bootleg anything, Ice.
I have no idea.
it
what
wasn't
you're
even
referring to.
it wasn't pirated.
Yeah, whatever. I don't. But like,
Well,
you're saying,
I got my
episodes-
hands
What
on-
episodes? What episodes are we on?
We're on episodes 11 through 15.
15.
11
Yep.
through 15. Episode 11 was interesting.
Yeah, episode
Standalone.
11. Kind of it was. Yeah, so this one, it started out with shit.
Oh
Hey,
no!
Rob,
Oh.
I get it, bro. I get it.
Oh, my
I
God.
understand if you don't remember shit from this
Oh,
anime.
Something
my
happened.
God.
Ooh,
Oh,
Rob!
wow.
Ooh, Rob!
I remember
we
this
have a-
one. Fuck. This there.
Oh, he's opening
Oh,
the
my
letter.
God.
There's a lot of talky
He had-
episodes. This one.
He had all the time during the late conversation during the Anime Expo.
You guys had me all distracted with all this other shit.
Oh my
This shit was
God.
I am
this show has
disappointed
been
in
super
Rob right
dialogue
now.
heavy. Yes.
Yeah. It was a lot of. I mean, this was basically 5 straight episodes of talking.
So
Yeah.
I mean, this is the episode where the power goes out, though.
Yeah,
right?
this is the episode
Yeah.
where the power goes out. The first thing I remember is Shinji is calling his dad up on the phone and is just like, "Hey, you got to come in. Parent-teacher conferences at school."
Trash.
And his dad is just like,
I gave
"Why the
those
fuck you
duties
calling
up.
me for
I
this?"
got somebody for this.
I gave those duties up to you. You
Yeah.
have a guardian, bitch.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
And then it was just like click, and he's
Yeah,
like,
he hangs up on him. Okay, so the episode starts with them like you kind of see a lot of the nerve-like people kind of
Yeah.
out and about getting their
Yeah.
laundry done, like picking up their dry
It was
cleaning.
funny. He was like,
Pointless shit.
he was like, the captain is a nasty bitch.
Yeah.
she can't even pick up her own
Oh, shit.
laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, and they're on the train, and the big piece of information we get, they're all basically riding the subway together. They're there with like the second in command. He's like, "Yeah, the Commander Akari sent me off to talk with the council this morning. He always sends me off to do this pointless shit." But they're talking about the tests they have coming up that day. They're basically running a new synchronization test with the prototype, and they're also going over some stuff they're doing with the Magi, which we haven't really brought up on this show to this point. So basically, they say that the city council shit is all bullshit because their entire government is run by the supercomputer called the Magi, which is a three-piece supercomputer that they vote by majority rule. So they all supposed to run diagnostics, and then if 2 out of 3 agree, they go forward with it, and that's the ultimate
you
government.
Put the stakes into a fucking. All right,
Yeah, it's like, how could this go wrong? Well, and it immediately
it
does.
goes wrong.
Yeah. This.
That's one thing
Someone-
that they always do is like, this can go wrong, and then
then-
after.
So
It goes
does.
wrong.
I think I know what my biggest beef with this show is.
Mhm.
Is that so what we talked about when we watched the show Baki
Mhm.
is what Baki was really good at, and the reason why it was entertaining was outside of just the action scenes is they were really, really good at being able to build up what was about to happen.
Yeah.
It's like it was expert level. It's like, okay, so this water cutting technique is something that only one person has ever accomplished in the history of mankind.
Yeah.
You can cut rocks with the spit from his throat. It's like, what?
Yeah.
But this show does that too. And it builds up things really, really big. And the conclusion is literally like the fight or the conclusion is literally like a 15-second scene.
And
Yeah.
that's
it. And
that
it's
was
over.
literally my biggest beef too. I was sitting there getting very upset with every episode with this build up, and then the lacklusterness, if that's even a word, of all this shit. It really made me upset.
Yeah, I mean,
Because at least with Baki, it paid off.
yeah, Baki
And it
paid off.
pissed
The
me
fight
off.
was-
Don't get me wrong. That shit, that was one of my biggest gripes about Baki, too. I don't need to know the history of the fucking police team's armor and shit. But when you saw Spec go in there and crush his fucking head till it
Through the
smoked,
armor, yeah.
it was
Yeah.
like,
Till it's
ah,
Okay,
and it was like,
okay.
all right,
yeah, you're like, all right,
It was
cool,
worth
cool.
it.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is to that is, like what you're about to talk about is like we build up these supercomputers. And for me, the idea of a society run by supercomputers, and not to me, but in general, this is something that a lot of anime and just shows have done in general because it's something that society is going to start using. It's not a matter of if this is going to happen. It's like we're going to be using these kind of things to be able to do the simulations.
We're doomed. Terminator.
Well, I mean, the thing is,
It is definitely a
one,
Skynet type of thing.
and but for this though,
You really think we're gonna get to that point? And,
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually,
Yeah.
probably.
no, I mean the thing is like
Yeah.
what we're gonna do is I don't necessarily think in our lifetimes that we're necessarily going to see a society that is directly run by computers making decisions, but it'll just be like, okay, here's the city council, and one of the city council members is this computer. You know what I'm saying? So then
Yeah, we already do shit like that.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Like people already do that. It's like that. Like a lot of corporations have computers, supercomputers that run diagnostics. They just take all the variables,
simulations and stuff.
Exactly. So they run that. So the more powerful computers get, the higher the accuracy of whatever they predict is going to be true. So when you get to the point where we're at this advanced, we're creating giant humanoid robots that are bigger than skyscrapers, that are fighting angels that are coming down, capable of committing genocide across the entire planet. Then I'm sure the computers are going to be so accurate that we're like, okay, well, if it says it is probably right.
Yeah.
So it's not so much the computer is running our society. It's just like we've learned at this point. It's just like this thing thinks better, it analyzes better.
Quicker, all that stuff.
Yeah, so it's just like it tells us that if we don't do this, we're gonna die. And last time we didn't listen, we died. So it's like, like we're still in control, but we just learn is like the smartest person in the room gets the highest opinion.
I hope I'm nowhere. I hope I'm dust.
Because to me, at that, do you not trust a computer? Because when you got man running it, you can't trust man either.
Yeah.
That's for me. It's like if we found the best, most efficient way to do things, because how many decisions do men make now that result in so many lives lost or so many resources messed up or the whole planet destroyed?
You got white men, making decisions,
But I'm saying,
for women.
I agree with you in that sense. But it's like at the end of the day, too, it's not even just that. It's businesses.
Yeah.
If they got money tied up in these businesses, they're making decisions on how much money they can make.
Right.
So they don't give a fuck if they got to kill some people so they can make $5 billion more.
Right.
10,000 people got to die then, or this plane got to go down into the ocean.
Especially you don't know them. You don't know them. Fuck them.
So
but I mean, the people running in this kind of shit in Nerve are already at that point.
Exactly.
Right.
They are those guys.
They just want the greater good. Kill 10,000 to save 1,000,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are the hard decisions and hard recommendations that people won't make. Yeah. Like if you turn off the ethics mode on a computer, it'll just tell you, just like, look,
that's
either
facts.
80%. Exactly, it's like 80% of the population is gonna die unless we kill 30.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, shit.
Yeah.
I definitely think man will make that decision and just do the same thing.
I don't know.
The people that are in charge, they will make that decision.
Especially they don't have that attachment. I mean, if our politics, political climate haven't showed it already.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I think, and this is one thing, I studied political science and all this. So
yeah, that's what my degree is.
Yeah, me too.
I read a book.
You read a book? Okay. Oh, wow. It had nothing to do with athletics, guys. No, but I think it's really interesting because the other thought that I had while I was watching this episode is the way that the politics would play out, because the reason why people don't have the political will to do a lot of things now that need to be done is because of the repercussions, that they will be the person labeled, they will be blamed, they will be held accountable for if it doesn't go right. But if you can point at a scapegoat and say, hey, this computer said it, I didn't. I'm just saying that statistically it's been right, so we should just go with that. Like, you're no longer directly to blame because that's what everyone else is going to do too.
I'm still blaming,
because they definitely have had instances before and after this episode where they're just like, computer said what? Fuck that. Like,
yeah, they do it all the time. The computer. I will say this: like, for all the build up they gave this computer in this episode, every single time they have mentioned the computer before, they've done it passively in saying that here's the percentage chance that this is going to work, and the percentages don't even make any goddamn sense. Like, even in the episode we were watching today, I mean, not today, I was watching yesterday, it was like, this is 0.00001% chance of happening, and in my mind, I'm like, it's going to work.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course. Like, there was no fear in my heart that it wasn't.
Like, they just take it too far. It's like, why is it 0.00? Why can't you just give us like a realistic number? It's like, this only has a 33% chance of working.
Well, I saw there's 10 more episodes after this, so like, I know it's going to keep going.
Fucking work.
Something's going to work.
Yeah, because the stakes are too high, and they just throw a percentage out there that's just like, come on, writers. Like, this is the laziest thing I've ever seen. 0.0000001.
Like,
all right,
the
cool,
dramatic
fuck it,
effect,
we're doing it.
You can't do it because they've been doing that 0.00 stuff
but
the past 10 episodes. So it's like
they should give
dramatic
realistic
effect is
percentages.
not hitting the same.
That's my point. They should give realistic expectations, and then on top of that, they should have not necessarily, catastrophic dire consequences where the show ends. Like, if they made it so it's like, no, like, what'll happen is we're gonna lose 2 of the pilots. Or we're gonna lose this pilot if we don't do it, and we might lose this section of the city. city. It's like the show goes on if we lose a pilot in a section of the city. The show does not go on if we lose the entire Nerve headquarters,
Yeah,
all
exactly.
3 robots,
Right.
and the whole city. It's like,
Yeah.
what else is there?
Yeah, you can't possibly have world destruction
Yeah.
like a third of the way
It's on the
through
table
series.
every time.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny though? It's just like the rest of the episodes are just literally just like a static camera on desolation.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's
We
what
told
this
you.
show has been feeling like.
Ooh. All right, so we have supercomputers.
So we have the supercomputer, and of course they get into to Nerve HQ, and they're running some tests. And in the middle of running the tests, there's a huge power outage,
Yeah.
and they're just like, "Oh, what the fuck is going on? Like the Magi's out, our power's out,
Yep.
life support's going to be soon after that. We need to fucking hustle on this." And meanwhile, you've got the kids up on the above surface, the pilots, and they're like, "All right, school's over, time to go to work."
Yep.
And so they're headed to the subway, and all the power's out, and they're like, "All right, well, we got to get to HQ."
I hate the
somehow."
redhead girl now.
Oh, she's the
Oh,
worst.
yeah,
she's
that's
the
she's
fucking
a
worst.
jackass.
She is the worst. And
Yeah.
she's immediately
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, well, I'm obviously going to be the
The
leader,
leader, like,
so
what?
you get in line behind me." And the other two are just going to like, "All right,
I can't
whatever."
stand
Ree,
her.
I would thought Ree was gonna check her. Like I was like when she
Nah,
was going
you see her
in,
person.
I did
person-
too.
but yeah,
Nah.
I was
I
like,
didn't think so. Her personality doesn't show that.
in the
I
elevator,
thought-
I thought she was.
I
Gonna,
thought she was gonna do like like when her back was to her and she
Mm.
was just like, well, blah blah blah, like talking all this shit. I was like, she's about to kick her.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope she kicks her so bad. She
Right.
won't do it.
No, because she's just like. She just puts it out there.
Yeah.
Ray is like the Tim Duncan of this team.
Yeah,
She's
that's
just gonna
right.
fucking
Yeah.
go out
Great
there
one.
That-
and just
yeah,
like
great.
do the
Yeah.
work, stay quiet,
That was-
and just do
Yeah.
your job.
I think for that
think,
analogy.
but
Yeah,
I think
thank
too,
you.
the reason
Thank you.
why Ray is also so calm is because she probably knows more than all of them. She's
Yeah.
probably just like,
Ain't
she
ain't no
clearly
probably.
was. Yeah.
Ain't no
It's like-
probably.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
exactly.
Shinji's bitch ass, he just bitches up again.
Yeah, he's just like, all right.
okay,
I have a hard
man.
time still. I mean, like, I think he's emotionally unstable. He's definitely
Oh
has a
my
weak
God.
constitution, but I can't call somebody who saved the planet multiple times with his courage a bitch. I can't do it.
Mm.
Like, it just doesn't work for me.
He's a bitch.
One other point I wanted to make to what Rob was saying is that when the power went out, one of the things that they hammered home like 8 times in this episode is that it should have been impossible
Yeah.
because they had 3 levels of redundancy. They had they had regular power, auxiliary power, and then they had backup power.
Yeah, they say there's no way that
Yeah.
this is
Even
natural.
possible. Yeah.
Somebody
Set-
is sabotaging.
Yeah, the setup
Yeah.
is in, baby.
And then
Yeah.
at first they were like, "It's humans." It's like, was it really? You know? And
He
it
was like,
was
all this time I thought we would get beat by angels and not
no,
humans.
the greatest humans.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was also weird. So like they're in this test facility, and I thought it was really cool how they did the test facilities where they just have a portion of an EVA that these kids
That's
are.
in the next episode.
Oh,
Skipping
okay.
ahead, skipping
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I thought this was the. I thought.
Oh, here we go.
No, this is an episode or 2 from now because they're
I'm
testing
gonna-
something else out. They're not in. They
I'm
use the
gonna
test
trust
divas.
Rob. Because last time
I
you
was
came
asking.
at Rob,
I didn't. I'm not
No,
even
this was on
doubling
that-
down.
They used that on the episode where like the virus angel came in.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
I thought. Okay, go ahead. I'll shut up. Go ahead.
that's so.
I'm confusing these 2
Angel.
episodes. They're similar.
They are very
yeah, they
similar.
very
Okay,
similar.
that's
yeah.
right.
Very
Yeah,
similar
yeah.
because that one deals with the Magi as well.
Yeah.
So
Skeeting everywhere.
in the rest of this episode, because you've got Misato and Brennan's favorite guy hanging out on the elevator during
Yeah,
the
I
power
can't wait
outage.
to talk about him
Oh, boy.
these
Yeah.
episodes. Rob. God damn it, Ice.
Listen,
Hey, Cameron.
I got big legs.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, like, take the camera.
Yeah, he kicked the camera again. Like,
Uh,
he kicked, like
it-
I
it
wouldn't
was-
say anything, Cameron, if he didn't like really kick it. Like,
was-
like the
it
whole
was-
thing.
It was more of a
shifts.
knee.
Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
So
You see these legs?
we've seen him all the time.
unfortunately,
So during that power outage, they're also they're talking about they think this must be sabotage, and whoever it is, whether it's human or angel, they're basically trying to figure out how they get their power back on. They're trying to find out more about Nerve. Meanwhile, the UN, who still has all their power on, notices from their satellite feed that there's an angel attacking on its way to Tokyo 3, but they're like, we can't get a hold of Nerve, and they're the only ones that can beat this. So what the fuck? So there's an angel on their way to it, but the only person that from Nerve that knows it is one of the dudes that's still above surface with
Yeah.
glasses, and he
Oh,
can't
the
get a
one that
hold
was
of
like that
anybody.
nasty bitch.
Yeah.
So he's on his way down to, he basically hijacks a car and is just like, we got to get down to Nerve HQ. So that's all going on while the kids are trying to break in. Meanwhile, the kids are trying to break in. They're getting all turned around because Ahsoka doesn't know how to get anywhere in
She
fucking
doesn't
Nerve
know
HQ.
shit.
Yeah.
doesn't know anything.
He's being cocky.
She's like,
and
let's
I
go
hate it.
this way.
Yeah.
And then she opens the door, sees a fucking
The
angel.
angel's
and
out
was
on the street.
and then obviously she pulled a Brennon and was like, well, if it wasn't for me, we wouldn't have known that this angel was here. Let's go the other way.
You know what's funny? That's what shit Brennan would have said.
That would
though.
definitely
That's
some
definitely
shit.
some British shit.
That is
I
definitely
agree with
some
that.
British shit.
That is some British shit in the sense of like.
well,
I've watched so many emotions go through Brennan's face in the last 5 seconds of being like, fuck you, to be like, well, hey, that is how it would go. It turns out. So they're just like, all right, shit, well, we got to, basically Ray's just like, all right, I'm in charge. Here's where we got to go. We're going to get down there. Meanwhile, the people down in Nerve HQ are like, well, fuck, they know the angel's coming because the guy gets down there with the car and he's like, well, the pilots better get here or we're fucked. So let's just prepare the
He's
angels
on like a
or the
megaphone.
Evas now.
Yeah.
So as they're getting the Evas ready, the pilots do arrive, and they're just like, oh, shit, the Evas are ready? And they're like, yeah, I mean, Captain Ikari had faith that you would be here.
And this is the Spider Eva, right? Like the Spider.
Yeah, this is like the spider with like the eyes all over it or
Yeah,
something like that.
He was
Yeah.
just-
Yep. So they basically manually launched the Evas to go up into battle.
his dad was out there manually
doing shit
it.
by hand,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
To his credit. I mean,
Yeah, he's
an
boss.
asshole, but
Boss.
he's doing the work.
Yeah.
He even said it too. He was like, "They'll be here. Get them ready."
Yeah.
I was like,
He knew.
Damn.
See,
all right.
for me, I would have gotten a lot more out of this because, like, he said that, and then afterwards they made it later seem like they were like, well, his son's gonna be here. Like, no, he said they.
yeah.
Like, he said a group, as in the whole group of kids were gonna be there, and he was right.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, he had faith in you. And it's like, no, he didn't have faith in Shinji.
Right. He just
I mean,
knew the group
the
was
thing
gonna
is,
be
though,
there.
is like
Yeah.
his words are trash. His actions as a father are trash. But I will say, as the director of this agency, he has done nothing but show full faith in that kid.
Yeah.
Because it's like from the day one, the kid showed up and he's like, just put him in the machine, we'll be fine.
Yeah, pretty
you know?
much.
And he was right.
Yeah.
It was right. His synchronicity was 40%.
40 per. I want to say 9,000.
That's
Yeah.
over 9.
So they do get the pilots in. They launch them manually. Like they have to use the Avas to, pry open the doors, launch them up. They have to climb up the tubes, and they've only got the 5 minutes of reserve power, so they got to act fast.
Yeah.
And while they're climbing up the tube, this spider thing parks itself right over the tube and then starts like crying acid down on them.
Yeah.
And they start dropping down the tube, and
Oh,
they're
ski,
immediately
ski,
fucked.
ski.
They drop their rifles. They have no weapons. They got no action.
They stay dropping weapons.
Yeah,
Right.
they do.
They some
Knives,
arcade
guns,
hands.
Shit.
Well, just like
Butterfingers.
build it into the arm or something.
Thank
you
you.
know,
I
like
think
some
that too
Iron
is
Man.
like
Why make it separate?
Why they only have a pocket knife in their armor?
Yeah.
Like,
Bruh, this thing is too high tech to have, like you said, a little ass knife and a gun that you gotta grab the gun and hold on to it.
Yeah.
All the weapons should come out of the arms, or out of the
Should
body
be on some
armor. somewhere.
Megazord shit.
Yeah.
Oh, this
I
shit
think,
is-
and so, interestingly enough, the girl that we don't like, so
Yeah.
she takes lead and does a good job.
She does. She actually
Yeah.
comes up with a good idea where she's just like, all right, we're this is the first time we're also seeing all three Evas in action at
Yeah.
the same
Yeah.
time.
That got
Um,
I got a little hype. I'm not
yeah,
gonna
it was
lie.
because like, all right, cool, we got the
you
team
got
going.
hype,
And
but
then,
and then what happened?
And then,
Well, it went exactly how they planned it. Like she was just like, all right, Asuka's like, I'm gonna play defense. Ray, you go for the gun. Shinji, you catch the gun and tell me when you're armed and ready and out of the way,
Yeah,
and I'll
play
drop,
offense,
and then
yep.
we'll fire. And
Yep.
the plan goes exactly like that. And they
she took some back
obliterate
shots,
it.
though.
She
Yeah.
definitely got
Took
her
some
back
back
burned
shots.
up.
oh my god.
Okay,
That was for
Brennan.
Keenan. That was for Keenan.
And we know that's why the dude's your favorite character.
Yeah.
No, I can't wait till we get to some later episodes, Rob.
Oh,
But
shit.
what
Mr. Me Too, huh?
But here's
Hey,
the
man.
Mr. Me Too, huh?
Hey, man.
No,
Yeah.
let's talk about it.
We
Let's
can.
talk about it.
We'll
Yeah, we'll get there.
We're gonna get there.
Yeah, we gonna get there.
But
Woo.
they
I was geeked about that part.
But they shoot this angel.
Yeah, and it's ripped up, and then it pretty much folds in on itself like a spider, and
This is-
they're saved.
This is the first time that a weapon like that actually worked on an angel.
Yeah, it is.
Because
Yeah.
like normally they shoot at these angels. Normally they shoot at the angels.
That's what
and
I was
it's-
thinking.
it's
I was like,
no
it
one-
was so easy.
Yeah.
It was too easy.
There was no AT field, which apparently
Yeah.
is the greatest thing that's ever happened in this show.
Yeah.
Every time somebody
Yeah.
mentions AT field, everybody's like,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, yo, y'all mentioned this like 5 times an
I
episode.
feel like the stakes are so they build up the stakes to be so high, and you would be like, all right, man, what's gonna happen? And then it's nothing. Like
Yeah.
It's like,
this shit-
them bullets went all the way through that thing.
and
Yeah.
these fight scenes last, like you said, a minute.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no like come
There's
on.
no
give
no
me
second level
something.
to it. They're
Yeah.
like, all right, here's the plan, and shoot
It-
up straight, and every single bullet hit the target. The target immediately collapses. The
It-
fight and episode is
And
now
Brennan,
over.
you just said it. There's no second level.
no.
There's
I
no,
feel like they put a angel there just to put an angel there because they knew these next 4 episodes are going to be loaded with dialogue. So it was like, fuck, let's just
Well, I mean, I
Drop
think
some
that
action in it.
I think it's interesting how they're building out the antagonists, I guess, of this show, which really aren't real antagonists because they don't have personality. But their powers are always just like, for one thing they gain, they lose something.
Yeah.
Right.
So the powers of this one was just like the whole strategy of this of this angel was like, all right, I have the ability to do pretty much an EMP and wipe out all the electricity anywhere near me within this range. So I'm going to attack this headquarters. And it doesn't matter like how I attack at this point because I don't even need to defend myself because they can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
Was the bet. It made a bet. It's what it felt like. It's like this thing made a bet when it was being born. It's like I would make a bet. If they don't have electricity, they won't be able to defend themselves and I'll just be able to apparently liquefy them through this ridiculously corrosive acid that I can cry from my eyes. And that's it. That's my entire strategy. If that strategy fails in any way, shape, or form, I am 100% vulnerable. Like a child could throw a rock the wrong way at one of these eyes and I will be dead. But they won't. You know, so...
Because they'll be worried about the electricity being.
Because I mean, for me, before this episode, I thought the rifle that Shinji had was just absolutely useless because it's just a conventional weapon. You know, it's just like it's the same thing as like having a jet. For me, that's what I was thinking about this whole episode. I was just like, if he can kill him with just that, you know, with just the rifle, why don't they fly a jet from another country and just hit it with a missile? Because this one didn't have an AT field. So it's just like this whole episode didn't even make sense. They're like, oh, man, the power's out. What are we going to do? Let's send word. They literally sent an airplane. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, y'all couldn't have sent a jet.
But they've done such a good job of neutering the UN at that point that the UN, when they see that thing going towards them, they're like, well, all we can do is call up Nerve.
Yeah.
They're like,
Man, I guess.
How are they supposed to know?
I'm saying this is like the very first episode where they didn't try conventional warfare. Ice. Jesus. He hit. Can you? Okay, but either way.
This is my first time sitting in this spot. I'm used to
You wanted to sit there.
No, Rob sat in my spot.
Oh, sorry.
You sit here.
I've never sat there.
You sat here last time.
I sat there last time.
Whatever. So I just want to say that I just don't like. For me, the line of logic when it comes to, once again, I bring this back like I brought it back last episode, is the line of logic when it comes to the antagonist of the show.
Yeah.
I think an antagonist makes the show, and this show does not have an antagonist that I care about yet. Or at least there's no readily identifiable one that we can make.
Don't worry, Brennan. They got 11 episodes left to find one.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Thank you, Keenan.
So we probably got to burn through these next ones because I think we spent about 40 minutes talking about episode 1.
Go ahead.
Do it.
Burn through the bullshit we had to watch.
So the next episode starts off with a flashback, basically, of the second impact.
Yep.
From the point of view of Misato, who was there with her dad. We find out basically he had sacrificed himself to put her on a some sort of vessel that shoved her out off of Antarctica as it was being vaporized. Yeah. And she kind of watched from the distance as the first angel unfolded itself and just destroyed a bunch of shit.
Why do they call it the second impact if it was the first angel?
I think the first impact is the impact that destroyed the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Copy that.
That's my assumption.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So this episode, we find out Misato's been promoted, and
two bars.
Yep. She went up to. She basically. I don't know if she's like the second in command or third in command behind.
Feels like third.
I think she's third in command behind the dude with the gray hair.
Yeah.
Because Shinji's dad and the second in command, the guy with the gray hair, are off in Antarctica finding something. You find out that they have something wrapped up that you don't really see at first on the vessel of the ship, and they're kind of like, all right, well, like while we're there, she's in charge. That's basically all they talk about. And I think the gray haired dude is just like, if we mess up with this technology, we could have another sort of incident like the second impact. And he's like, no, like that won't happen again. Like all our work has been going towards avoiding that.
Yep.
Meanwhile, back in Tokyo 3, they do find out that there is an angel that's in orbit above them. And this thing looks like it's something out of the Yellow Submarine. It's some sort of like weird eyeball thing floating up in space.
Like an amoeba type looking.
Yeah. They launch a bunch of nukes against it. It's not affected.
Of
and
course.
It's just
that's
dropping.
so funny. They would do that in this episode. Please continue.
Right. So they drop a bunch of stuff. So it's dropping stuff into the ocean along the way to try and calibrate where it's going to drop itself. And they figure out that that's what's going to happen. And they consult the Magi, and the Magi is just like, we should just get the fuck out of here.
We're going to die.
Lose.
We have a 0.0000001 of living. Yeah.
And so as the person in command, well, there's a few other things that are going on kind of outside of that,
yeah.
where basically they've been doing some more tests with the EVAs, And
This is the part I was talking about. That was pretty cool.
no, this is the one where they were like they had the capsules in the water and they were like kind of drawing them in and out and like
oh yeah, just
they're
seeing how
danger-
deep they can go.
Yeah, and Shinji's getting a bunch of praise, and he's like, I'm uncomfortable with that, and he mentions it to Misato, and she's like, I'm not even really happy with this promotion. And she kind of has this heart-to-heart with him, and she's just like, I'm not even sure why I'm still with Nerve anymore. Like, she kind of explains to him that she had a shit relationship with her dad too, because he was very much like his dad, very dedicated to her work, but his last act was to save her. So she's like,
Conflict.
yeah. So her whole thing is she's just like, I'm here because I hate the Angels, basically, for killing my dad.
Yeah.
And that's why she's kind of risen through the ranks as much as she has. But while this attack is going on, she finds out that there's this horrible survival rate. She's like, all right, let's get the citizens out of here. All the civilians, they're gone, but the rest of us are going to stay here and try to fight this thing. So she tells the pilots, like, all right, get in your suits. We think it's going to land here. We're going to have 3 of you stationed around so you can try and catch it. We don't know if that's going to fucking work, but let's give it a shot.
Oh, we know for a fact that
Of
it's
course
not
it's
going to
not
work
gonna
because
work.
0.0000001% says it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So her whole strategy is like, let's just catch it with our hands.
Yeah. Well, they want to use their AT field, which I think the reason it's such a big deal is because it's Angel technology.
Yeah.
Which is they finally got these Avas to use that technology and can break through it.
Yep.
So this thing starts to descend and they all catch it and they use their technology to pry it open and
then they stab it with a
Asuka
pocket
stabs
knife.
it in the eye and
With a
then it
pocket knife.
explodes.
And that's
so,
it. And then it died immediately.
And then it died immediately. A huge explosion. They're fine.
What's
They-
the name of the episode? Like Cast the Net or something like that?
It was, she said, don't make others suffer for your personal hatred because that's what the blonde doctor tells her because she's like, you just want to destroy these angels. You don't care about saving people.
Yeah.
Because she basically takes her aside in the women's bathroom and is just like, what, are you out of your fucking mind? Why are we staying here? And she's like, we have to beat this thing.
A
So-
rifle and a gun has taken out all these angels.
No, a knife.
A knife took out this.
A rifle. I'm sorry, a rifle and
A pocket
a
knife.
pocket knife.
Pocket knife.
A Swiss Army knife.
I mean, the thing's got crazy technology on it where it basically can cut through anything, but I mean, it's not
like-
just
it's
like,
like one of those
it's not
knives
just
you
made out of
find on the-
steel.
But
Like-
it doesn't look like anything. It doesn't look like it's.
Yeah.
It, doesn't do
It looked like you
What I don't
find it
understand-
on an infomercial or some shit. Like,
and I'm gonna
we'll
guess
add
here
2
the reason
more.
why it's so small is because whatever
They don't have
material
a lot
it's made out of,
supply.
it's got to be a short supply.
Yeah.
They can't make like a huge sword out of it.
Vibranium.
Yeah, something like that.
Rob with the generous writing blessings here.
I'm just saying these are the facts that are these are
They
here.
don't, but they don't ever address it. They're just like, oh, we got to have the knife, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, for me, I look at it like this. is
Well, they
that
do talk about the knife. It was in one of the other episodes.
They talk about how it can cut through stuff, but they
Yeah.
don't talk about why it's so short. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
because the thing is, for me, is like if you look at the length of that knife in comparison to the girth of the bodies of these things that they're stabbing, is it gonna kill them? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
it just has to hit the weak point, which is what's been.
Which is the whole.
I feel like they
thing.
stab things anywhere, like especially when they're underwater, and she was just like, "Ah," just-
that time she was, she
Yeah.
did just stab.
That's what
that
I'm saying,
thing
and it
fucking
died.
everywhere.
You know what I'm saying?
It didn't die there. It died when they piloted the things into its mouth and they shot all their
When they
guns at
shot
its
out,
weak
yeah.
point.
Oh,
and
that's
then it
right. You're right.
exploded.
You're right. Okay.
I
okay.
think
God, man,
what
my
they're
memory.
what they're doing. Only thing that would make sense to me is that they don't want to be such a Japanese anime to make a long blade and it's like a mech with a katana, and they just kind of want to make it their own thing. So they're like, okay, how can we make this our own? And they make it like, oh, let's just make it a pocket knife.
Nah,
Man,
bro.
y'all
I can't
two
do
is
that.
generous.
That's the
I-
only
I-
thing that can make
This
other
side of the
than
table is so
crazy.
generous.
But so anyway, to skip ahead,
Yeah.
they do beat the monster and they get back inside, and
Surprise,
as
surprise.
they're doing the they're debriefing, they're on the phone with Shinji's dad, and he tells them like,
Good job,
Shinji, you did a
son.
good job. The first time he's gotten praise, and then Shinji's just like, I think the reason that I do this is because
I want my dad's
I want my
praise.
dad's. He wants his dad's approval,
So sad.
Yeah.
which is very sad.
Aw.
Very sad.
I
And
wish I
which-
cared about the character.
and Asuka's just like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
That's what you fucking want because
Yeah.
you're just never gonna get it.
Yeah.
So the next episode, this is the one where they're going through the test with
the partial Eva.
the partial one. So they basically have the pilots stripped down naked because they're like, how can you guys
Clean
pilot
suit.
without the suit on?
Yep.
So they're in the partial Evas, which are in a test zone. And while they're doing that test, there is an infiltration into the base on the part of some like nanoparticles, which turn out to be an angel.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, this whole angel's bet is that it can rapidly evolve faster than they can figure it out.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
nanotech.
This is what I will give this show about the angels. All the angels do something different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
every
what-
angel is completely
Wildly.
different.
Yeah, wildly different. So that's what I will give them. At least they made that a point. But
I
No.
think this episode in particular, the build up to when the angel first attacked didn't make any sense because they're doing this test and they're like the cellular wall. First of all, cellular walls.
Yeah, which is seems to be in reference to the thing around them, like the nerve HQ.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like this whole thing is alive in some way, shape, or form if it's a cellular wall. But either way, they're saying that there's like a disturbance in the cellular walls while they're doing this very specific test with a high-level technology with the pilots in a compromised state. And they're just like, nah, it's cool. Keep going.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Why didn't you?
Yeah, it's just like out of all the things to like, we're noticing abnormalities in the cellular wall of what protects us. And
especially for them to be so numbers driven and 0.0000% driven, like
didn't make any sense.
That should have been like a red flag, and for you to just be like, fuck it, like no.
But either way, we have this is an episode right here.
Yeah, well, we find out that because as the thing's attacking, they can't use the EVAs, because what ends up happening is they have to eject the pilots because they're in danger, number one. Number two, the organism itself evolves so much that it is able to hack into their systems, and it hacks into the Magi. And what we find out about the Magi is that the blonde woman, the blonde doctor, her mom invented it.
She's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, her mother invented it, and they also eject the EVAs out of the entire base just to make sure the EVAs don't, because if the EVAs get hacked, like they'll just turn those. Now they are angels.
Yeah,
you know
and the dad says, like, of all the angels, he's like, protect number one, which is Shinji's, and he's like, even at the expense of the other two.
Yep.
So they
were even like, even at the expense.
Like number two though.
Yeah,
number two.
Right?
Yeah, because number two is supposed to be like the one.
Yeah.
And they're like, and he's like, fuck it.
Fuck
Like
'em
number
all.
one is the one that we
And they're
need.
like, eject them, even though we
like
can't.
Brennon always say, who had the most bodies? Like,
yeah, it's Shinji.
you got to protect that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while that's going on, what the virus does is it hacks into the Magi and starts to take them over one by one and start proposing self-destruct of the entire base. And because it needs majority rule, the first time it votes, it only has control of one. It fails. It takes over the second one. And while it's in the middle of taking over the second one, they basically freeze the Magi and are just like, all right, what are
They
the
freeze
fuck
it
are we
because
gonna
the
do?
blonde chick is just like, said this is 15-second intervals or whatever the hell that meant, and they were just suddenly it just stopped. I'm like, why didn't she do that
The
when it
first
started
time.
attacking the first? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But, do you mind me going here? Can I do it?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
All right, so what happens after this is that they go and it's like, all right, cool, what are we going to do? They go into their war room, and then our main girl, what's her name? Masato was like, let's just destroy the Magi. Like, let's just destroy it. That's the only way we're going to survive. And then the Bond chick was like, nah, like, this can be fixed. All we have to do is be able to play off what this virus is doing, because what the virus is doing is self-preservation through evolution, at rapidly being able to evolve past anything we create for it. So then after that, they're like, all right, cool, well, how can we do this? She's like, well, if we push them past and say, make it evolve to the point where it's like, it's going to die, but it's like, oh wait, its self-preservation is gonna kick in, and it's gonna want to live. So we have to get it past the point of it destroying all of us to the point where it wants to live. So like, all right, cool. How do we do that? It's like, well, we have to, do some technology shit.
Basically have to merge the Magi and the angel into one organism.
Exactly. And for me, I was thinking like, after this happens, it's gonna be like a super Magi, because it has all these nanotechs or whatever, but it wasn't addressed. So it wasn't. Was it?
Well,
Like,
it basically absorbs it. It's just like
Yeah.
it becomes it's a new thing. Yeah.
but they don't.
But they do say like, yeah, it's now technically got like an angel in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
more
but they
or
don't
less.
address. I mean, it's not didn't get addressed this episode. Like, it's
No.
in the episode, like, look how much faster it's computer. Like, nothing.
No.
But either way, she goes down and she's like, no, I can do this. I can take care of it. Then she takes her assistants down to like where the actual like computing space was. She opens up a little container area, goes inside, and it's just like a bunch of handwritten notes inside of it that came from her mother, because this whole computer was the interface of it was made off of her mother. And they go into talking about how now they have the technology in this world to be able to imprint somebody's brain onto the computer and have that computer's neural technology be able to be part of that. And then while she's talking about that, figuring it out, and they're all looking at the notes, they're like, we can do this. And she opens it up, and they're like, wait, was this whole thing made after your mother? And she's like, yeah. And then she opens up a compartment. It looks like a brain that has like little holes in it that she can plug into. And so she's doing that, and the whole time, like, she's doing it, then now it starts to become, oh no, the virus is waking back up. It's going to start taking over. And she's like, no, we're good. We got this. No problem. Masato, during this whole point, I don't understand why she was down there at all, because she was literally distracting her, like, hey, let's talk about your mom.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing?
That's like Baki's girlfriend. Like,
No, she was straight Baki's girlfriend in this. Like, I would have Kato'd her in this. I was like,
Get out of here. You're useless.
Kato reference.
I got to do that like every episode.
But she's in charge. She outranks her, so she
Yeah,
can't kick her out.
yeah.
Can't kick her out. So she does that, and so she gets down there. They end up writing the code code as a group to be able to figure out how to make it so that it does the self-preservation thing. And then she plugs in, and then of course last second she's like, okay, run the program. They run the program, and guess what? Immediately there's no issues. Everything's better, and the episode is over.
Well, what she also mentions is that yes, her mother's there, but the three Magi's are different facets of her mother's personality. There's the mother in her, the woman in her, and the scientist in her, and those three things is how it makes its decisions. But the thing that basically the one she repaired was her mother as a woman.
Yeah,
like that was the side of her personality, and she was like, I didn't even really like my mom that much, so this was sort of weird.
Everybody just has parental
problems
issues,
with their
right?
parents.
This episode, I believe it was this episode.
Everybody has problems with their parents.
Yeah.
There was I think this episode was just consistent of all zoom-ins. Did you see? Did you realize that everything was so dramatically zoomed in? Like, oh no, this is happening. Like, I think it's this episode. I was just like, bro, there's too many zoom-in shots. This show is literally boring the fuck out of me, man.
He was compensating.
I was struggling to watch this show, bro. I'm sorry, man.
I'm looking at Rob.
Yeah,
look at me all you want.
Hey, Rob.
I'll say he picked a boring anime that's this long. So long.
I said something earlier, and we'll get into it after this episode.
We still got 2 more episodes to get through.
And Rob snapped on me, so we'll get to that in a second.
Rob snapped on you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So this next episode, the first half was basically a recap episode because it's Shinji's dad in front of the council going like, what the fuck? Like, you're fucking up. This isn't good. Here's all of the things that have happened. Are you capable of continuing with your plan as it stands forward? And he's even guarding from them that there was an angel that infiltrated their base. They straight up ask him about it, and he's like, no, that didn't happen. They're like, are you lying to us because we've killed people for less? And he's like, no, we're good.
No, what you're talking about.
Good.
No, what you're talking about.
No, that didn't happen. So
reminds me of the Dragon Ball Z movie.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So as they're after they finish that, and he basically tells the council to fuck off, like, you got nothing on me. Prove it. They go back to, there's another test going on where they're seeing if some of the pilots can pilot each other's EVAs.
Yep.
And so Rei is in 01, and she's just like, okay, yeah, I'm cool. Like, me and Shinji line up. Like, they kind of like, they're saying, oh yeah, 01 and 00 have similar personalities, so it makes sense that these two would be able to do it.
Yep.
Asuka can't go with anybody because she's too much. Meanwhile,
there's something going on there separately, just for the record. There's something
on.
about the reason.
Well, yeah.
They wouldn't tell her. They didn't talk about it, but there definitely is a reason why she's piloting number 2, and they don't let anybody else touch number 2, or vice versa. She don't let her touch any of theirs.
Yeah. So Shinji goes into 00, the prototype, and I mean, we had seen a little bit of this when Rei was piloting his, but she's on some like sort of like acid DMT trip where she's like having this crisis of personality or conscious of like, who am I? Which makes me think that maybe she was born in a lab. Maybe she doesn't have parents.
Yep.
Maybe she was created to be this
I think
pilot.
Shinji's dad is her dad too.
That
was my theory was she's a side baby. She's a side baby.
Yeah.
I think a side science baby. Like, she's a test tube baby.
Yeah,
So
like
a
crazy.
side science baby.
Yeah, I think she's been made in
That's
the
some
lab.
next level shit right there.
Yeah,
That's so
I think
dope.
she was made up in a fucking test tube.
I
Yeah.
can see that.
Yeah. So Shinji has that same sort of vision and starts freaking out, and then the Eva starts freaking out and goes berserk, much like it did during the first test with Rei. It starts punching the walls, punching
And
the
she does
observation.
not hesitate. She does not move. She
No,
does not
she just
flinch.
watches this thing just punch at her, and they manage to shut the thing down. And as Misato's kind of giving the doctor the riot act, like, we got to figure out what the fuck is wrong with this thing, and the blonde doctor's like, I think it was coming after me.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
Clearly they're able to fix it up because the episode ends with the gray-haired dude and Shinji's dad having a conversation saying, like, everything's still going according to plan. We have Adam in hand. The virus thing had gotten close to him, but I guess it's still fine.
Yeah.
And they say that we're going to proceed with the plan, and they show Rei's Ava walking basically somewhere in the basement of Nerve HQ with that huge spear towards something.
Yeah.
And that's where that episode ends. This next episode is so this one was kind of had the Kaji guy, was that his name?
it's your
The guy
boy.
that you like? Whatever. So so he's on some clandestine
Guys, this is the moment to
mission.
watch our YouTube for this.
Yeah,
the
so-
smile I just gave Rob was perfect.
So he's he's on some clandestine mission because he's some sort of mole. He's working for the
Yeah.
Japanese government investigating Nerve while also doing clandestine shit for Nerve that a lot of other people don't know about.
Yep.
So
Because he's boss.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that.
He said, yeah.
I
He
think
said it, y'all.
Sneaky motherfucker.
It
That's all
goes
he
back
is.
to what Keenan said. Is like either he's going to be the greatest good or the worst thing.
And
Yeah.
I picked my side early.
Yeah, and you sure did, and it could still shake out either way.
Still could. I'm just saying. So I just want to get to the. I just want to get to the drinking part of this episode.
Yeah. So anyway, he gets back to Japan. The pilots in this one are kind of not really doing anything with the Angels.
Like going on.
What's her face? Asuka gets set up on a blind date.
Yep.
Shinji meets up with his dad at his mom's grave, and they kind of have
Trash.
they have this conversation where he basically tells him, they haven't connected in 3 years.
Right.
The last time they had seen each other was at this mom's grave, and
And
after
Shinji
that,
ran
Shinji
away.
ran away.
And then dad threw away all mom stuff. Doesn't even have a picture
Everything.
of her. He doesn't. Kid
What did he
does-
say? He said, "Don't." He said, "Remember, you got to forgive people in order to move on in life."
Well, no, he tells him there are some things you need to forget to move on in life. Other things you have to remember. That he says his
right
that-
after
He's
in
like,
succession.
your mom taught me that, and that's and he tells him like, everything you need, you keep inside,
Right.
which is just
Just
like,
like your mom still is here inside,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
so
Yeah.
that's how he's
And-
able to.
Wait, hold on.
do that.
First of all, the graveside's not even real. But then Shinji goes, he says something like in a source of light, like, I'm kind of glad we had this moment or something like that.
Yeah,
And his dad goes,
Huh?
I see.
Yeah. I
And,
know.
then, and then Ray comes down in the helicopter, grabs him, picks him up, and like, let's get the fuck up out of here.
He's like,
Yeah.
why is Ray in the helicopter?
Yeah,
Bro,
right.
like,
pretty much.
And he even asked her early in the episode, like, yo, like,
What's my dad
how do I
like?
yeah, what's he like? How do I
Yeah.
communicate with him? She's like, I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. I think you're right. I think she's a test 2 science baby. Oh, it's a lot of static. A test 2 science baby, and I think that his father pretty much raised her and grew her. That's why he probably has more of a personal attachment to
Yeah.
her than his own son.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
That must suck for him.
that.
I can't even
for
imagine
Shinji.
that. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
as a twin, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, like, as a twin, I would have feelings like this that were completely unjustified about my own father.
Yeah.
And that would bother me. I'm like, my dad is favoring my brother or something like that. When it really came down to it, I was just being a little shit.
He's being a little bitch.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ice.
Yeah.
But no, I was just saying, like, even just those really affected me as a kid. So to imagine a dad that actually does that,
Yeah.
like, really,
And that happens in real life too.
It does.
Oh
a lot.
yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
does.
It has to be
Absolutely.
just, oh man, I can't imagine that.
Yeah. So the Nerve leadership, they're basically invited to this wedding. So they go out to this wedding, they party, they
Yep.
drink, they go
Uh-huh.
out
Mhm.
afterward.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
then it's like the Three Musketeers, they're all hanging out at a
Uh-huh.
bar afterwards.
Mhm.
The blonde doctor's like, oh,
Yep.
I got to go home.
Yeah,
I
she
feel
does.
like he hit both of them.
Oh, he's,
I think he
yeah,
did.
definitely.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah,
had
so
sex with
we
both
Yeah,
of
because
them.
they showed up. There was like they had a party or whatever for her for Misato's promotion, and like they showed up together, and they're like, "Oh, what are you two doing together?" Like, "Oh, we left work together." And it's like, "Yeah, fucking right."
Yeah.
So we
He-
learned some really interesting things here about the
Yeah.
guy that Rob claims is Mr. Me Too.
Mr. Me Too.
He still fucking is.
Okay, if you say so. So what we find out is that he didn't break her heart; she broke his because she left him
Yep.
without any kind of. She broke his heart and left him like cold because of things that had nothing to do with him or how he was treating her. She said it was because of her relationship with her father, and he reminded her of her father.
And of course, that's,
Classic daddy issues.
listen, I'm
Right.
not saying that she was right for that, but that does not give him carte blanche to show up in her place of work
Yeah.
and start fucking hitting on her and shoving her up against the wall and making
and
out with her.
she wanted all of it, including the kiss here. So she kisses him here. He doesn't take any form of advantage of the situation.
Except the fact that she was ranting and having an emotional breakdown, and then
And he
he's just like,
kisses her.
"Shut up,
She
girl.
drops
Let's
her
make
shoes,
out when
and
you're
she
drunk."
was cool with it. And then
when
he
she was
carried
just throwing up in an alleyway,
and then he carried
and then he
her home,
took
and put
advantage
her to
of her
bed.
while she
What
was
do you mean
wasted.
took advantage? He kissed her to shut her up from saying things that didn't
He
matter.
kissed her to shut her up while she
After
was
she threw
expressing
up?
her. Well, after she threw up, after she was expressing her feelings.
All I'm saying
to
is, like,
him.
what does he do? What is his actions though? What happens
He does
next,
take her
Rob?
home. No, he takes her home.
He takes her home,
and
he
he
puts
is
her
not
to
a
bed, and he
complete
leaves.
dirtbag, and so he does not sleep
But
with her.
I'm saying she's the dirtbag. Is my
She's not a
point.
dirtbag.
She's the one getting sloppy drunk. She's the one breaking up with people about stuff that has nothing to do with them, and
I'm
she's the
not
one treating
saying
him like
she's a hero.
shit with no justification.
That
She broke
she
his
get-
heart and treats him like
and
shit.
that does not give
All
him
the time.
That does not give him the right to then
And she
show
has
up
never
and just be
said
like,
no.
"Yo, girl, let's fuck." Except
she's
she
never
did say
said
no
no.
in the elevator when they were
When
on
did she
the
not
shit.
say no?
Yes, she did. 'Cause
She didn't say,
tells
"No,
him to
don't
stop.
touch me."
Yet she does.
What does she say?
tells him to get off, and then when they're in the
And what does
elevator,
he do?
and he's like, "Oh, take off your shirt," and she's like, "Fuck off," and she puts a jacket on.
And then he doesn't do anything. They're locked in the elevator together. He does not touch her. She stands on his shoulders.
That
helps her
one
to them.
time,
I'm saying he
that
didn't
one
do
time,
anything.
every other time,
He didn't do
he's
anything.
been like, "Hey, girl, let's fuck," and she's like,
And she's like, no. And then he leaves it alone.
And then she says, so she does say no. Then, so she does say no.
What are you talking about? She says no.
Because you're like, oh, she never says no, except you just said
No,
that
she
says
say no to him, like actually touching
It's neither
her.
here nor there. They're fucked up, complicated.
They are, but
poisonous,
he's not some
toxic
rapist, dude.
relationship.
Is my
I'm not
point?
saying
If there's one of the two people in this relationship that's trash, it's her.
They're both fucking
They're
trash.
both trash.
I
They're
can
both
accept
trash.
that, but all I'm
Yeah,
saying is
they're
you
both trash.
framed him as being Mr. Me Too.
He
The Me Too
fucking
movement
is,
is
'cause
about
then he
men
shows up and
who
he's
are
not-
trash to women who aren't. It's about men who take advantage of women with the
Oh,
power
so
they have.
if
She's the boss
okay,
here.
so she breaks your
She's
heart.
the
so
boss.
then that gives you the permission to then be trash yourself. Give me a fucking break.
I'm not saying it gives you permission.
Give me
I'm
a
just saying
fucking
you made
break.
it seem like he was just
Oh, so
absolute
he thinks
the
down
worst
to her
thing
level,
ever.
so it's okay. So it's okay.
But you don't ever talk about her.
I'm saying I just said she was trash.
Just now,
I just
but
said
this
she
whole
was
time,
trash
this whole show,
I didn't
you
have
like
the
he's trash.
information.
He's been trash this whole
He is
episode.
trash.
All I'm saying is that he's not the level of trash that be labeled as Me Too movement. No,
He absolutely is.
He is not a Harvey
absolutely
Weinstein. He's not.
No, he's not. But very few are.
But
That
that's what the
doesn't-
movement came from. That's what the movement came from.
movement
It's
came from
Harvey Weinstein.
a wide range of people committing a
But
wide
who was
range.
the poster
Very true,
child?
very
Poster
true,
child.
very
Oh,
true.
you're right because he's not as bad as Harvey Weinstein. He's not a complete dirtbag. So it's got to be you're either so bad
You're
that you're
making
10
it
out of
like-
10,
you're saying it's
or
like-
if you're just like a 3 out of 10, you don't deserve to get.
All I'm saying is
fucking
that
blamed for
all
that.
I'm saying is this guy is a smooth guy out here just trying to live his best life.
I think you identify way too much with this guy, and it is unhealty.
What? So I think what it seems like it's such a weird dynamic because there's people that probably like you know how if you like if you with a girl she goes like let's you kiss you make a move on her and she goes no but she really means yes type
Yeah.
thing. So it's like this is what this kind of seems like to me. It seems
Yeah.
like kind of one of those like she's going like
No
yes,
is no
what you
is
saying.
no.
But to me, no
Nice
is no.
knowing you.
Like
Yeah.
you have to operate with no is no. But in a lot of cases, people don't. And even women, some women would be like, "Yo, like, why didn't you keep persisting? Like, why didn't you keep going? I was
that's the
playing
worst
hard
thing.
to get."
That happened to me
Yeah.
sometimes in my
that
life.
does
You
happen.
should have done
That
something.
happens.
Like I felt uncomfortable in that
Right.
situation in
Right.
the first point.
I don't like
So
jail.
exactly.
I don't like jail.
I don't
I'm
like
a black
jail.
man in America.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even gonna look at you wrong.
So
Right.
from
Facts.
what I'm getting from
Facts.
like which is this
'Cause I'm not part of
hilarious
Mr.
this
Me Too,
hilarious
Rob.
argument. This hilarious argument.
I was,
But
I
that's
was here
that's
for
what I
that.
got.
could have took
Brennan.
10 more minutes of that.
Yeah.
I wish that was our whole.
And you know what's
should've
funny?
jumped
I was
to the
watching their
last
faces
episode.
while me and Robert going at it. You guys are just like, oh,
Because I had a whole nother argument that I was going to start with Rob that I knew was going to start, but I don't even know if I can now.
No,
This is
you
like-
have to.
great.
Rob is on the offense.
like-
He's on fire. You gotta.
Rob don't want
you
these
gotta
hands.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like that's the case. I feel like they're both trash, but I do feel like it's the whole instance of like she really wants him, and he's giving her what she wants, but she's kind of acting like she doesn't really want it because whatever her feelings are, but she
She fucked
actually
up.
does.
She fucked up.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, she did
So
fuck
I,
up.
so I understand. I feel like I kind of understand both of your dynamics, but I don't think he's super Me Too, to be honest.
Yeah.
I do think she's.
He has.
I'm just being honest.
I say he has Me Too-esque qualities.
Yeah.
Right, he
But
does.
he's
He
not.
definitely does.
But you can't label him
yeah,
as
I would
that.
never.
No,
I would
you
You can't
wouldn't.
label him as that in this
Thank you.
particular instance.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Especially
Shut the
now,
fuck up, Rob.
especially now, knowing that like I like how they played that because they had him coming in as trash. That's a terrible movie, Rock, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had him as trash in the beginning.
I don't get to
and
be
then they,
right against
slid
Rob
through.
very often, so I'm just.
Hey, you can.
This
you
is a
can-
matter of opinion. I just want to say, I mean, hey,
And you're the minority of the opinion here. So, like we were saying, continue with the episode, guys.
I mean, this is pretty much the gist of it, right?
That's That's.
I mean,
No,
yeah, because there's there's a little bit with like Shinji and Asuka, they kiss, and then but she's just like, so there's more of
she's
the
like,
will
"Kiss
they won't
me."
they thing.
Yeah, she's like, she pretty much, and that's the thing with her too. She really wants Senji also, and then she's like, let's just kiss because I'm bored. How
Yeah.
the what?
What?
Yeah.
And then you kiss him, and then you kind of be like,
Oh, then she goes in like gargles and like, oh, I can't.
There's disrespect. There's
She's-
disrespect.
But I'm saying
fucking
like
mean.
for me
You
though,
raggedy bitch.
the reason I think I can't stand her so much is because I feel like she reminds me of somebody I knew back in middle school. Like there was
Okay.
a girl that was just like her that was
Yeah.
like that did the same thing to me. It was like, yo, like we should let's do a
Yeah.
thing. Let's kiss.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
oh. Really? You're very attractive. I never thought you. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
And then it happens, and then she treats you like garbage afterwards.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
did something wrong. Like you brought this
Yeah.
to the table, and then she'll look at you and be like, "Yo, you're Me Too." And I'm like, "Rob was wrong."
Way to bring it back around, Brandon.
Ah, that was fantastic.
I still think it's a matter of opinion. I'd rather be on my side than on the other side where you could
You're fighting.
step over one and be fucking wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
Look,
That's
you
very
enjoy
true.
your
I'm gonna
isolation
err on
over
the
there.
side of, I'm not isolated. I am engaged, my
You
friend.
are isolated. That was good. No, I say isolated at this table.
That's
because
fair. That's
yes.
fine. I will sit over here,
Yeah,
totally
enjoy
shrouded
it.
in my opinion,
Yeah, you
feeling
have it.
fine
It's
about
all
it.
you, bro. All
Feeling
you.
fine about
the
it.
engagement shot.
All
That
right,
hit the
all
left
right,
ventricle,
all
though.
right. We gotta-
Anyway.
This is pretty much a wrap up, right?
I mean, it's pretty much a wrap up. The only thing that happens after this is the next day, the guy Kanji or whatever his name is down below, continuing with his mission, and he's getting into some lower levels of the Nerve HQ. And as he's opening up the last door, there's a gun against the back of his head, and it's Misato, and she's just like, "I know you're working for the Japanese government. You're fucking up. Like, I could kill you right now."
And then what does he do?
He says just like, "They're keeping secrets from you. Check this shit out." And he opens up the door
Boom.
where they
Adam.
have Adam tied,
Yeah.
literally nailed
the
to
thing
a
that
cross.
killed her dad.
Yeah.
And the spear that what's her face had, Ray had, shoved into its chest.
Yep.
So we didn't know what the fuck happened when she went down there.
So at this moment, and this is the only time with him I'm not going to be like, I absolutely know something.
Yeah.
I still feel in this moment he actually seems he's leaning towards being the good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
what it
far.
feels
I can
like.
see that.
Because
Yeah.
it feels like what's his name? His dad. The dad here
Yeah.
is the bad guy, and he's a double agent trying to make sure that everybody wins. Is what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, he could be
um,
like trying to take power away from Nerve.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's trying to take, like he's Nerve's doing things it shouldn't do. Nerve is obviously a necessary evil in this universe right now to protect him from the angels. But at this moment, I have a bunch of theories because I'm like, if they have this Adam thing here and these all the angels have the same exact thing, they're all trying to destroy the headquarters. But the thing is that they might not be trying to destroy the headquarters.
They
might be trying to
get
retrieve Adam.
Yeah.
You know, they might just be trying to retrieve whoever their leader, their king's body is or whatever. Like the thing still might be alive for all we know. We don't know.
Seems like it is.
Yeah.
It's got like, it looks like something almost out of Full Metal. Like
Yeah.
it looked kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Envy, like with
Yeah,
the
with
fucking
the
got
big-
people legs hanging out of it.
Yeah.
It's
It's
weird.
creepy. The face of it just.
But
made
like,
me
how would they
Yeah.
even get it though? Like that diamond. If that diamond angel was successful, how would he or she or it?
I mean,
would
I
even
imagine
pick them up?
they would evolve, did something like the thing that was
Yeah.
drilling. It was like something would have came out of the drill. The thing with the acid thing. I feel like because it had those tentacle arm things, like we might be able to stretch the tentacle arm down there. It
Yeah.
doesn't like for me. It doesn't matter because they lost, but
Yeah.
I feel like they all had the same end game thus far, and we don't know exactly what that end game is. But I feel like we're getting closer to it because you know I feel like it could have happened in maybe a quarter of the episodes to get.
Oh,
where we
yeah.
are. But here we are.
So go ahead, Brennan. What's your?
No, I actually had one other question for you,
Oh,
Keenan.
okay. Go ahead.
What did you say to set off Rob earlier?
Oh, I
He's
said,
gone off twice now today.
Yeah.
He said it's on the level of
I said, yeah.
What did you say?
I said that it's close to the level of gangster,
And I said he's out of his mind. I think you're
Oh.
out of your mind.
and I don't think so.
I'm
Because here's the thing: at least with gangster had at least 2 fight scenes that were better than this. Even though the fight scenes didn't fully play out, their 2 action scenes are better than all the action scenes on the show so far. Not even close.
Yeah, but action
Not
scenes
even fucking-
aside, the
cohesive-
storyline.
There's a cohesive story here.
I
though.
agree, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's close to. It's close to.
No,
So see,
I
for
think
me-
it is.
I'm with
I-
Rob on this. I
I-
think Gangsta, if I was to rate it out of 10, is literally like a 1. Like
Well,
I gave it a
I'm-
3 on the show, right? Like, I
This
think
would
so.
be this wouldn't
This
be
is like a
far off
5.
though.
This ain't far off. This is between a 1 and 3 to me right
Yeah,
now.
it's like a 2.
I-
Like honestly though, because like I'm action
You
built,
giving this a
but
2 out of 10?
I'm action
Close right now,
oriented.
yeah.
It's
I'm
not that
action.
bad.
I'm
Yeah.
action oriented, but I can appreciate like a Trigun where it's like story driven, dialogue driven, cool.
2
but
out
it's
of
like,
10?
bro, it's in that range just because it just
I
hasn't-
agree with Ice.
It just hasn't aged well. That's the
2?
biggest thing. Like I said, in '95, when this would have dropped, if you put this against the Akira or even the Dragon Ball Z,
Dragon
they-
Ball.
yeah, or
Well, that'd be Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z,
yeah.
yeah, Dragon Ball
You-
Z.
It would have been like, oh, okay, like it would have held its own. But after all these animes, but it's nothing. It's not. And even now, like, I can't even give it the excuse of being in the '90s because there's dope ass animes that came out in the '90s.
Exactly.
I
No
think
excuse.
Yu Yu Hakusho is shitting on everything.
Yeah.
Hunter
during
x
this time.
Hunter
Hunter
is
x
shitting
Hunter,
on
yeah.
that.
When did Hunter x Hunter come out?
'99.
Yeah.
So it's like,
But you can't call it a 90s anime when it came out the last
Well,
year.
Hunter
in
x
the
Hunter,
90s.
the original version came out earlier, didn't it?
it was
Manga did.
'99.
It was 99.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
2011.
saying. So I don't think
Yeah.
that really counts towards this because like early
But it
90s
still
versus
had the
late
same
90s.
like animation
It
style.
had a
though.
90s style
Yeah.
animation for sure. The original
Yeah, but
one did.
I don't know. I say that's a stretch to be able to say Hunter x Hunter, but like Yu Yu Hakusho and Dragon Ball Z, I accept that.
But here's the thing: this show has not, to me, brought anything like. The only reason why I'm watching this is just like how we're gangsters, because we have to finish this shit.
Yeah.
That is the only reason why I'm watching this shit. Samurai Champloo honestly shits on this anime.
Yeah.
Samurai
If,
Champloo.
if I'm saying that,
yeah,
then-
Samurai Champloo is destroying this anime to me.
because
Samurai-
it has those high points where it's like
Exactly.
the highs in
Why
Samurai
does he sound like me
Champloo
right now?
are way higher than any high in this.
There has been a high point in here.
Yeah.
And that's why I said that. And that's why I said with this anime, it's close to gangster because
I'm uncomfortable.
at least gangster had points where you're like, oh shit,
Right,
this
this.
could go here, and then we was like, yo, it had potential to be great,
Right.
But this doesn't even have the potential right now. I don't
Yeah.
see the potential in this anime being
I
great.
Yeah.
Are you
completely
guys?
disagree
Are
with
you guys
that.
okay?
Where is it? Where?
Yeah.
And I'll
Did
say
you
this.
just compliment Samurai Champloo?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, of
did.
course. Amongst this, hell yeah.
Yeah, amongst this shit.
Because at least you have those points to speak to, like the blind woman battle, the battle at the end, the battle with the gay dude, in
Battle.
in the smoke and stuff, in the mist. Like,
Yeah.
those are points that I can speak to. Was
All
it
right.
over
All the Samurai
27
Champloo's-
muddled episodes?
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just pause you, gentlemen, for a second. Rob, can we get a rebuttal here?
I mean, listen, this anime for me, I'm not saying this is the greatest thing we've watched. I'm just saying I don't think it's as bad as Gangsta. For me, it's probably on the level of Samurai Champloo, where I'm like, I'm not excited to watch, but I could probably cut the episode count in half. I like the storyline of it. It's not important to me necessarily to have those action scenes, which you guys, I know just from what we've talked about, from what we've seen in these other episodes or these other animes. I know you guys are just action guys. For me, it's not that important. I don't need to have action. I'm not necessarily like, oh man, I can't wait to see these episodes. I'm not chomping at the bit. I had to refresh myself, but I want to find out what's going on. I think there's still room for this anime to be for me at least, like, that was all right. I don't think it's like, I'm not like, wow, this is so good, but also the fact that I've read online so many people being like, this is my favorite anime. I'm so glad. People that don't like anime being like, this is the one anime I like, that I'm like, I cannot say that it's as bad as Gangsta.
It
I mean,
sounds like nostalgia.
Yeah,
That's
what
what
it
I
is.
want to know. Those people, when they watch it, they watch it back then. If they said they watched it for the first time now and it's their favorite anime, then I don't know what to say about that.
But you think the same thing with Gangsta? All those comments under the YouTube, like they was going in like, this is fire, this is great. And we're like, what the fuck?
and here's
they're
and,
wild.
And here's the thing. To just go back to even saying we're action heavy. I'm very action heavy when it comes to anime. That is absolutely true. But a dope story will trump everything to me.
Yeah.
The story
And
ain't dope enough to me. And I'll say this because have all of us watched Death Note before?
No,
Yeah, I've seen that note.
No.
Bits and
Us two
pieces.
have, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Death Note has probably one of the best stories, and there's like really no action.
You know,
the
it's
whole
so funny.
anime.
I thought Rob was gonna pick Death Note.
I almost
Yeah.
did, actually. It was
I
one
was
of the
saying-
ones.
I
The
was
reason
saying-
why I picked this one is because it was like,
If we
I
wa-
know it's a classic, and it was
Yeah.
coming out on Netflix. It's like,
Yeah.
we gotta.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I just know that if we watch Death Note season 1 with Rob, like Rob would lose his shit on that show.
You would love.
Rob would lose
I'm
his
down
shit on
for
Death
that,
Note.
yeah.
And that's the thing. When it comes to dope story, this doesn't have it to me. I understand wanting to know what the fuck is going on. I get that.
Right.
I kind of want to know, but if I don't really give that much of a fuck.
I
But
don't-
Death Note, bro, that's one of the greatest cat and mouse games
Non-action.
written.
Yeah,
anime.
there's no action in that anime.
No action in that anime,
None.
and it's better than
It
most
is-
action animes.
Yeah.
I
That's
agree
how
with-
fucking dope that shit
I
is.
agree with
That's
that.
the thing with me too. Like, I like action, but like I think Baki is terrible and it's action heavy. But that's
And it's
because it
great
has
action.
no story. Like,
Right.
I'm
So-
still very story driven as well, but I don't give a fuck about anybody
All right, so
in this.
all three of
Anime.
you have given your opinion. I guess I should give mine.
We didn't ask for your opinion.
That's fine. I just said what I
damn
wanted
sure
to
did.
say.
Here
it comes.
Actually, Keenan did ask my opinion, and I switched it back and asked him.
Yeah, he asked me a
So
question, yeah.
You shut up,
Yeah, no,
bitch.
no.
Okay.
Who was
so,
late today?
So what I think is, I think all of you actually have valid points. I do, because right now I'm gonna withhold my overall judgment of the show. I already told you guys in the beginning of this is that I don't really feel like I'm excited to watch it because it moves very slow. But
Yeah.
that is, for me, I can look past that, and the reason I can is because every anime during this time moved that slowly. Like if you go back and watch what Dragon Ball Z was like during this time, it moved slow. Even when we were watching Yu Yu Hakusho, we were like, it moves slow.
Yeah.
You know, that's just what it was back then. It's like stories move slow. So I'm like, all right, so the story moves slow. There's a lot of open plot holes right now, but we're just past halfway through.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this might end up being what Rob said, is like, this might end up being, if there's some kind of, what a twist, you know, at the end, you're like, oh, this actually ended up being cool. Was the build worth it? Probably not. But it ended up getting somewhere where we're just like, okay, that was crazy. That is a possibility that neither one of you guys can say is impossible. You know, it's a possibility, because something's going to happen with the dad, something's going to happen with the Adam, something's going to happen with the pilots and the Evas themselves that we haven't been told, or there's going to be some kind of information that's going to come out that we're going to be like, oh shit,
I have a
we
theory
didn't even
when you
predict it.
finish.
So I mean, I have many theories,
Yeah,
but
seriously.
but that's what I like about the show, is that there's a lot to theorize about it. But it is really slow for me. The action is pretty much garbage. The only action I've really liked is when they did the synchronized.
So this show or Trigun?
Huh?
This show or Trigun?
Trigun. Because Trigun was funny.
Trigun's a 90s anime too.
Yeah, but Trigun moves slow too. But I'm not, like I said, I did not say, like I said, I'm withholding judgment. So I'm not saying if I like it or don't like it. If I had to say, like, if I was watching this by myself, I would have stopped by now, to be fully honest. I would have stopped, but we're not going to. So for me, I'm going to withhold my overall judgment for the time that we
So
finished.
you don't feel how you
more
felt about
episodes.
Gangster, where you text in the chat and you're like,
I didn't text the chat.
I'm just saying, but you don't. Do you?
If I felt the same way, I would have done that. That's my point. Is like with Gangsta, like I truly felt like I was like nails on chalkboard. I hate this. I hate this. I'm watching this show and I'm just like, I have no emotion.
Yeah,
That's how I feel.
I mean, listen, I'll totally agree. This 5-episode stretch was one of the hardest we've had to do for the show.
Yeah.
Like, because it was boring.
Yeah.
Like, I was not thrilled with these episodes, and I'm not saying like
but
this
I didn't.
is
But
in
you
the
don't
top 10
hate
list,
it.
but
I
don't hate it.
hated Gangsta because Gangsta. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
I was angry.
You know what I'm
with
saying?
Gangsta.
Gangsta, I was like, what is happening? Who are you?
Right.
Like, how come that never? Like, what? Like,
Honestly, but not to shine up a turd or anything like that, but I feel like at least Gangsta evoked emotion, and I'd rather watch something that evoked emotion. Like,
but the emotion was hatred towards the show. My emotion towards the Gangsta was like, I want to punch whoever invented this, whoever the animators, the creators,
But
everybody.
you hated it because it had potential, and it shitted on it. This show doesn't have potential.
You can't
I
say
just
that
did
it
an
doesn't have
entire
potential.
speech about the potential of this show. That's all I just talked about
It
was the
is.
potential of the
It's
show,
exactly
and you
what
shook
you
your
just
head
said.
yes the whole time.
But you know what it is? The potential of this show is still here.
Right. It's like it's not like it's not
high
like
potential.
like
Its ceiling is very, very, very low.
Yeah.
Fuck Gangsta.
Oh, we
I don't even wanna
agree
talk
with
about
that.
it.
That's
I know,
We're
I'm
disagreeing with
That's
that.
still our basement.
All right,
Yeah.
this is our basement.
All right, we gotta wrap this up. Brennan, what's your stuff?
I can be found at Mr. Producer Face, and I would love to hear anybody's opinions about what me and Rob just had to go through, because I feel like that was a moment that will live in infamy for this show for a while.
It's gonna be hilarious, and it's on video,
I'm
so
so
it's gonna be even
glad that's
better
on video.
because it's on video.
We
Go
went
ahead.
in, dude.
Go ahead, Ice.
The eye exam, THEIYEXAM. Also, too, anime expos. If there are any anime expos that are happening this year that are in your city and you want us to come to and
Let us
possibly do a panel, let us know. We'll pull up.
Rob.
RV Danger 44 on Twitter, RV Danger on Instagram.
And side note to what I said, we can actually talk without cussing if need be.
It's gonna be tough.
Looking at Keenan like, we can do that, right, Keenan?
No,
But
I
they
don't
cuss
want
at all those panels. People cuss.
to. Yeah, they
Okay,
cuss.
Yeah.
They're-
whatever.
they're-
Just
Yeah,
saying.
these are adults that are there. There's
I
not a
just
lot
like
of
to get
kids.
paid well, but go ahead.
If they tell us we gotta be clean for a panel
got
and
you,
they're
I
gonna
got
pay us well, then
Yeah.
I do clean comedy shows.
Okay.
So I can do that.
We
But-
can try.
But if you're not gonna pay me well, fuck you. So anyway, Keenan Baker on everything, Instagram, AnimeSHUN Podcast on everything. Let us know what you think about this anime. Some people already hit me and told me. They didn't spoil anything, but they were just pretty much, they gave me some insight about the rest of it, how the rest of the anime is gonna go.
We know you wanted them to spoil it.
Yeah, you spoilers.
I don't care. I don't care about the spoiler for this,
Spoiler
especially for this
ass bitch.
particular anime. I don't give a
Honestly,
fuck
if
about
I-
a spoiler
yeah.
for this anime. So, let us know what y'all still think about the first 15 episodes so far. Give us your opinion. Let us know on Facebook. Let us know on Instagram. DM us. And thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of AnimeSHUN. We out.
Deuce.